Recording is back on. We're going to play Jaipur live now. Now, I'm not actually going to play the whole game out. Right now, I want you to learn to play this game. In Jaipur, this is a set collection economy game. There are 3 sets of high-ends and 3 sets of low-end goods. There are also several stacks of bonus tokens. The idea for the game is on your action, you may either take one good from the center and take it into your hands, or you may take all of the camels all at once, but if you do, you flip multiple new resources, and then your opponent can grab them. Now, how can your opponent grab multiple resources? You have this thing called trade as one of the options. And if you put resources back in 1-to-1, you can trade them for other cards. You can also do that with camels. So let me sell off some of my cards here, just to keep the show flowing. Alright, I can now trade all 3 of these camels for all 3 of these leather. When you pick the camels up, you run the risk of better stuff flipping, but you get to do a lot more with your trade actions because you're gaining more cards at once. Alright, that's the basics of what you can do. Is you can take a single card, you can trade multiple cards from hand or camels to get different ones from the center and replace them, but your maximum hand size is 7. You can only have 7 cards in hand. When you do want to start selling these goods, you select the goods you want. So in this case, I've selected 2 cloths, and then I click sell. You want to pay very close attention to the price of these goods. I wish I could go back because I've already sold some stuff, but the initial prices of these change. The leather down here you'll see has more tokens in the supply than anything else. There's a little bit more leather in the deck than anything else. Its starting value is 4 for the very first one you sell. Its follow-up value is 3, 2, and then all the rest are only worth 1. This is to represent supply and demand in the game. There's a lot of demand when you start the round, but ultimately it becomes less valuable. Same thing with the spice and the cloth, and these have the same exact setup, even though I've already sold the first ones. The first one's worth 5, then 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. It's very important in this game to get those first couple sales bonuses, to be the very first person to get in on a trade, but you also don't want to sacrifice high-ends to do it. The silvers are special. All 5 of the silvers only have a value of 5. All of the golds have a value of 5 except for the first 2. The first 2 have a bonus 1 cost because there's some demand for gold. Now the diamonds have already been sold by our friend over there. Jerk. I didn't say that. And the first 2 diamonds are worth 7 each. So the first 2 diamonds was a 14-point sale. The first 2 gold are a 12-point sale. All the rest of the high ends are worth 5. If you sell 3, you still get that 14 for the first 2 plus 5 for 19. Now let's talk about bonus tokens. If you get a collection of the same type, you get a bonus token when you sell it. If you sell 3 cards at once, you get either a 1 rupee, 2 rupee, or 3 rupee bonus. And when you hover over this, it tells you how many of each there are. There are 3 of the 2 bonuses and 2 of the 3 and 1 bonuses in this supply. Now the 4 bonus, if you manage to get a 4th card when you sell that stack to represent having a monopoly so you can charge what price you want, you get a bonus for 4, 5, or 6 value, and it's an even distribution in those. You'll notice that's exactly 3 higher than all the previous, 1 through 3 and then 4 through 6. But if you manage to get 5, which is much harder to do and might have sacrificed first sales bonuses to get there for these low ends, or just been really lucky on high ends, getting a 5 bonus on high ends is hard, you get this huge bonus of 8 to 10. That's 4 more from the previous, because it jumped from a low of 4 and a high of 6 to 8 to 10. Now you'll notice that there are 2 of the 8s, 2 of the 10s, and only 1 9. But what I can do, normally you wouldn't put a diamond back into the center, I would hold on to it, but I want to show you selling a large stack. So I am going to take that, and I am going to sell all 5 goods at one time. When I do, I get my 11 value for the first sale and all of those tokens added up for those 5, and I got a bonus token. The value of my bonus token was 10. You just keep playing this out over and over through the round where you can trade camels in. You don't want to get stuck without any trade value, because then what do? You don't want to let everyone else get all the first sales bonuses. You don't want to neglect high-ends because they're always worth so much. Even if you sell something that's worth 5 right now, letting him get something that's worth 5 all the time is not worth that trade. But you have to be constantly selling. If all you did was trade your goods for slightly better ones, and then some more better ones come, and you trade again for some more better ones, and you keep upgrading, you've never sold and made any money. All of Jaipur is about managing your hand, managing the probability of what cards are left. There's 1 more of each card than there are tokens of each type. So since there are 5 of each of the high ends, there are 6 cards of each type. Since these have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there are 8 of the cloth and 8 of the spice. But the leather has 9, has an extra token, I believe. And that makes up the deck. There are 11 camels in the deck, and the camels come into play at the end of the round. See this little bonus token here for 5 points? Whoever has the most camels at the end of the round gets 5 bonus points. If you have 6 camels, you're guaranteed to get the token. If you have 5 camels, it's possible to tie and no one will get the token. But as long as you have the most, even if you only had 3 and they only had 2 and the rest of the camels were in the center or in the deck, that's okay, you still get the token. Doesn't matter the actual value, it's just a comparison of you and your opponent. Whoever has the most value from all of the tokens they've collected at the end of the round wins and gets a seal of excellence. You play until you have 2 seals of excellence, and then the game ends. So it's basically best of 3. First to 2 if you prefer that way of talking about it. Round ends. Let's talk about the round end. That's very important. The round ends when any 3 supplies are empty. So if all of the diamonds have been sold, all of the silks have been sold, and all of something else have been sold, the game ends immediately on that round. You score up and see who has the most camels, give the token, and then compare value. Alright, the second way the round can end is if you ever needed to draw from the deck to replace to the center, and there's no card to draw, then the round ends immediately. Maybe both players had cards stacked up in their hand ready to sell, and there were camels in the center, and you took 4 camels, but there were only 3 cards. Uh-oh, it tries to replace all 4 camels and can't. The round ends. Those are your 2 round end conditions. A tiebreaker. If you happen to have the exact same value of all of your goods sold and all of your bonus tokens and camels at the end of the round as your opponent, you count up to see who sold the most goods. So the most individual tokens that you have, that player will end up being the winner in the tiebreak. And it's just goods tokens, not bonus tokens. They don't count for it. But if you sold the most low ends, you're probably going to win because this person had more value per token, but they sold less total goods. Not always does it work that way. Maybe they sold a lot of these and all of the leather, whereas you sold some of this and some of these, but you got the higher values on these and managed to tie anyway. That kind of thing can happen, but really it comes down to just who has the most goods tokens, they win. That is all of what you need to know to be able to play Jaipur. I hope to see you playing it soon. I will definitely post videos of me playing this game. It's a great little 2-player game, one of my favorites.